book of my Prime Day haul, along with the fourth book on a guide of how to color, adult coloring books, and other types of coloring. Okay, I saw this one a while back before the other three. I had wanted to purchase it, but at the time I really wasn't too sure. I was a little skeptical, so I finally took the plunge and decided to purchase it. So this will be our first flip through together. Okay, so the book is by Design Originals. They are the editors of Do Magazine. The title of this book is called New Guide to Coloring for Crafts, Adult Coloring Books, and Other Coloristas. It's tips, tricks, and techniques for all skill levels. You have your table of contents here, and then in the images here it tells you, where the lessons are and things like that. So page 5 would be gallery. The page 12 is a guide to coloring supplies. Page 42 is organize your stash. Then you have 6 lessons. Lesson 1 is all about color. Lesson 2, patterning. Lesson 3, shading. Lesson 4, blending. Lesson 5, layering. And lastly, lesson 6, planning your work. And then the last one is recap. And then the last section is 100 plus ready to color design pages. So here's the gallery. So it shows you that you can frame your pictures however you want, in different styles, different techniques. I like this and that one, that's cool. They put it on a cup. This one put it in, I guess like a little locket or something, trinket. Okay, and then they made stickers, it looks like. Tags. And cards and stuff. That's cool. And then the next section is your coloring supplies. Now, on this page, I see something already that Coloring with Claire talked about, washi tape with coloring books. So maybe it'll talk about it a little bit. So here it talks about markers. It talks about your water-based and your alcohol-based. It has the different brand names and the colors that they use to do this with. Over here you have more alcohol-based and water-based. Over here you have your tip shapes. So you have fine tip, brush tip, bullet tip, and chisel tip. And then it says what type should you be using. And then it shows you stroke samples for different types of markers. So here's your alcohol-based section, and this is your water-based section. And it says, what should I buy? So it gives you recommendations on what you should buy and tips. Then it talks about colored pencils. You have student quality versus artist quality. And then talks about purchasing. So let's see, average colored pencil prices. Lower quality 24 pack, 10. High quality 72 pack, 100. And then for the single colored pencils, anywhere from $1.20 to $3.80. And then here it talks about wax base and oil base, and then it mentions name brands. So this was printed before the Derwent Pro Color pencils came out. So of course that's not going to be in this book. But it gives you a few of the top name brands out there already. And then it says other factors to consider. watercolor pencils. What should I buy? Tips for using colored pencils. Then it talks about gel pens. It lists your different types. And then it talks about glaze pens, which is a set of pens that Sakura has. Sakura Jelly Roll. Then it gives you a box here of common brand names, and then who has the specific types of ones in them. And then this one talks about crayons and pens. And then you have watercolors, paint pens, soft pastels, and other specialty tools. Over here for thinking outside the box, so this talks about eyeshadows and stuff like that, and makeup. This one is for pages types, so you have copy paper, cardstock, art paper. So it tells you a little bit about what other things you should look into. Paperweight, paper tooth and texture, like what I was talking about in my last video with these the Snow White and the Alice in Wonderland. Those paper textures are more like something like this, as opposed to something with a little bit more tooth, which allows for more layering down, I would say. Then you have paper recommendations, sharpeners, printing methods, then sharpeners. Over here you have erasers, pencil extenders, scrap paper, color and comfort, and then tips for arthritic colorists. So this is something that'll be good for a lot of people who, such as myself sometimes, after coloring for a little while, your hands start to hurt from holding the pencil for so long. Over here you have comparing different medias. So you have marker, color pencil, gel pens, crayons, writing pens, watercolors, paint pens, and soft pastels. And it tells you everything about them and a price range. And then over here, this is the ending of the wrap-up facts. And then here is ideas for organizing your collection, your stash. So I've seen people with similar carts like this. Michael's has one of these, I believe, but it's a blue one, and I would like to say gray or beige or something in that color range for $30, and it's a 3-tier. Let's see. Then you have your basics, color chart, and color categories. And then you can color your own here. And we've got a little exercise here as well. And then you have some more. So this one talks about complementary colors. This one talks about split complementary colors. This one is analogous colors. This one is monochromatic colors. This one is triadic colors and tertiatic colors, sorry, and then warm and cool colors. And then here you have your pattern basics. So you have dots, lines, boxes, waves, triangles, and curly cues. And then it tells you combining patterns, creating your own, filling in spaces. So like basically like I guess what they're trying to say is if you have a tree or a flower and it's kind of plain and you want to add stuff to it, they're giving you these little ideas on how to make patterns in them. So you see, you get to try creating your own little pattern inside of stuff. And then more patterning tips and ideas. And this one is shading. Okay, now, so this is cool. It shows you within the pages, like, okay, let's say you have a wall or something, and you want to add a little bit of texture into the images itself. You can do a cross-hatching pattern in the corner lightly, so that way, you know, it kind of gives it dimension and depth instead of it just being flat and one note. And then here you have this little image of this guy to try. And then it goes into highlighting using multiple shades. And then this one's about blending. Now here is where it becomes a little bit more interesting. Now here it talks about different types of blending tools and techniques. So we already know about the point blending. Blunt blending, if I'm not mistaken, you can use your finger, paper towel, something that's got no point to it really. Then you can use water also. So it's talking about the crayon medium here, such as water-based markers, watercolor pencils, and pastels. It works best with, but it won't work good with oil or wax-based pencils. Okay? Then you have rubbing alcohol, which is another method. Some people like to use the Q-tip with the rubbing alcohol, the Gamsol, or the odorless mineral spirits. And then you have colorless blending markers. Now, here it shows you what it would look like with a colorless, before the colorless blending marker and then after. So it takes away all of that lining, and it also kind of lightened up a little bit of the colors. Over here it tells you to try. And then I believe it was Coloring Pages Bliss, Jennifer Stay, who mentioned the thing about putting nib to nib blending with markers, so that way you get this ombre effect of transition between two different colors. And the longer you hold it, the more that transfers onto the actual marker. So yeah, I'll get her website and Claire's, and I'll put it in the description box in case if you're not familiar with them. Then you have layering. Again, Jennifer Stay talked about marker on gel pens, or gel pen on marker actually. So it's reversed. Hi, I do apologize. My camera cut off because my storage became full, so I had to delete some stuff, and I am going to finish this review on this book. So I had left off talking about how Jennifer Stay had talked about using markers and pencils together, and also gel pens and stuff like that. So the book talks a little bit about it. Then it gives you these boxes here telling you try layering colored pencil over marker, try layering marker over colored pencil, and try layering gel pen over marker. And then it goes into paint pens, and then making layering decisions, different types of things. And it gives you more layering tips. And then it moves on to planning your work, obviously, you know, picking your colors, where to start, things of that nature. And then the recap, of course. And then it jumps into the coloring pages for practice at the end of the book. I suggest when you go to practice on these pages that you maybe photocopy them instead. That way you can have more pages to practice on instead of wasting these alone. That's just my theory. I love these two the most. These two are my favorite. Because it's almost like it gives you a recipe. You know what I mean? So it says like lime juice, then triple sec, and then the rest would be like tequila. And then the same thing with the mojito. And at the bottom of these, it tells you who the artist is, their website maybe, and from what book it came from. And also the website of the design originals. This is also one of my favorite too here. And it gives you artist credits, the index, a little bit on what the magazines look like that created this book, and then this is the contributing artist part. So it has all these different people who have contributed in here. So if you look at their names, maybe they have coloring books that you might be interested in buying and stuff. All right, so have a good day. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video. And if you want, leave a comment below for future videos that you would like for me to do. I have plenty of different types of colored pencils coming up. I'm still waiting to get some money together for my Derwent Pro Color. I know some people have done videos already on them, but my videos are a little bit different where I actually do the live color charts, so you can actually see the pencil performing at that exact moment as I'm laying it down on paper. And I tend to use watercolor paper for my coloring charts, so that way you can get a better feel on how it looks on toothy paper. Okay, bye.